Hello. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so today, what are we going to do? Today, we are going to talk about your content plan. All right, so what do we want to achieve here? What do we want to achieve? Essentially, what we are looking to create with all of this, with your showing upness, is essentially to make you quietly famous. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about what I mean by that. Now, what we want to make sure is that you have an ecosystem, you have a space within your space, and we want you to be well known within your corner of the world. Okay, we want to make sure that you're quietly famous. You're known within that space. They know you, they recognize you, they know your name, they know your face, all of that stuff. But it's not necessarily all about, being worldwide famous or anything like that. No, we are looking to make sure that you are known within your sphere. Okay, so what we are going to do today is we are going to complete today a 30-day content plan. All right, you're going to put all of that together. You're going to know what to say. You're going to know when to say it, and you're going to get a bit of a combination of kind of vibes here. So we want to make sure that there's some up and down. Oftentimes, what ends up happening is that we give and we give and we give in our communities, but we don't have the ask. We don't have the sharing of the offer. Okay, so we want to make sure that we aren't just giving constantly, because if we're just kind of posting for engagement, and we're just posting for like the likes, and we're just being friendly all the time, like, not that we don't want to be friendly, but if that's all we're doing, we're just doing it for likes and comments, then we are not going to be taken seriously in the field that we happen to be in. Okay, so we want to make sure that there's that combination there. So that's part of what you are going to build up today, is having that balance. Okay, now there's a couple of caveats here to this video as well. A couple of promises that I need you to make me. All right, done is better than perfect. This is kind of one of my favorite mantras everywhere. Obviously, I did not invent the concept, but this is something that you hear all the time, and you're going to hear it here as well. Done is better than perfect. I understand you, as you go and create more and post more, you are going to start to get a bit you're going to get a bit of a sense of what really works in your community, what really lands, what really resonates, what people really engage with, what they don't, and also what you're comfortable with. All those things, all of these things are going to be a learning process. These pieces of content that we're putting out here, I'm not asking you to create hour-long everythings. All right, this is just little bits that we're putting out there to make sure that we are continuing to stay valuable, helpful, useful, all those things. All right, it's not about being perfect. I do not want you to go and say, okay, I'm going to stop everything now, and then over the next 2 weeks, I'm just going to create the most perfect content, everything for the next month. No, 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 no. This is something you're going to land it today. You're going to kind of pull it all together in a short amount of time, get your kind of lists down so you've got an overview. All right. And then you're just going to jump in. Okay. We're not going to, again, get her done. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. All right. We need action oriented. Okay, so some of the mistakes that I really see in this space is, one of the biggest one is a lack of consistency. All right, so we don't get out there and get in front of our ideal client, and this is huge. This is a really, really important one, because if they don't know us, if they don't kind of know that we exist, given the fact that there's a lot of competing factors out there, there's lots of information out there, then what can happen is that when they're ready to take that next step, we're not necessarily top of mind. So we want to make sure that we are continually showing up. We are continuing to share our voice, to share our face, to share our ideas, thoughts, help, information, training, all this stuff on an ongoing basis. All right. So the next thing that I would see is number 2, is posting without an end result in mind. All right, so this is what I basically mean for this is, posting without a call to action, so to speak, or kind of what is the purpose. Now, I'm not saying that this has to be complicated. This can be something like, posting and saying that, like, the next step that you want someone to take is to like it, is to comment on, like if you agree, comment below. Do you think yes or no? Like, tell me what you think. It can be download this this PDF or this freebie. It could be sign up for this freebie. It can be sign up for my challenge. It can be, any number of things. But we want to make sure that we're thinking about how it is. We have to help to kind of set the little pave stones for how it is that we want our ideal potential clients to act. What is the action that we want them to take next? If we don't know, and if we aren't thinking about that, they aren't going to know either. Okay, so we need to be practicing this on a post by post by post basis. All right. And then, of course, the third thing, which I think you are not going to be surprised by, is just the perfection trap. And I think that that's something that comes up a lot, and ends up having an impact on your consistency, on the frequency that you're posting, on the amount that you're showing up, any of that kind of stuff. So this isn't about being perfect. This is about making progress. All right. So no perfection. Promise me. You are not going to get stuck in a perfection trap. Okay. So the big idea here. Now, we have all heard of the know, like, trust factor, right? They've got to know us, they've got to like us, they've got to trust us before they will go and invest in us. Now, what is something that is like a common thread through all of that I've just said there? It's about us. All of those pieces. They got to know us, they need to like us, they need to trust us. The big piece that's in common there is the you, the us. That's the kind of like linking thread for all of this. All right. Many have said versions of this, including like Liz Wendling is one, but there's lots of people who've said versions of this. But people don't buy your product, they buy you. They don't buy your service, they buy you. People don't buy coaching, they buy you. They buy the coach. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're thinking about that. And so if we are thinking about the fact that, okay, they don't buy a product, they buy me, they don't buy a service, they buy me, that means that you need to inject your you-ness in this. I'm not saying that you need to go and now go through some kind of massive personal branding exercise. We don't need to do that. We just need to be ourselves, and we just need to show up as ourselves. Okay, that is far more doable, and again, gets us a lot closer to actually actioning and moving forward. All right, so let's draw. How are we going to do all this? So we are going to do this. We are going to do this with a ice cream cone plan. Get my ice cream. An ice cream cone. My amazing drawing skills. An ice cream cone with a cherry on top, which I will add here in just a second. All right, so number one. One of the biggest pieces, let me get a different color here. One of the biggest pieces that I want you to commit to, that we've already covered, we already talked about here, is consistency. Consistency. Okay. Now, did you ever notice that, this is a little example, have you ever noticed that as an adult, it is harder to make friends than it was when we were younger? Whether we happen to be in university or in high school or college or elementary school, whatever. It was easier to make friendships and build friendships during those times than it is now. I have a little theory on this. I don't think that is just a function of the fact that we were younger, because we were more childlike, therefore it was easier to make friends. My theory on this, it has a lot to like friendships, relationship building, all of this stuff. It is very closely related to proximity and time, so consistency. So the thing is when you happen to be in university, or if maybe you work for like if you've ever worked for kind of like a bigger company that has a whole bunch of people, and then you've got a reason to see people on an ongoing basis. When you're in university or college or something, you keep on showing up to the same places on an ongoing basis. Class after class after class after class. You kind of see the same people on an ongoing basis. And that consistency helps to give people an opportunity to get to know you and for you to get to know them. That is how we end up building that relationship over time. It's because we hang out all the time. We see them all the time. And that is the same thing here. We need you to keep on showing up again and again and again and again, day after day after day after day. By doing that, by having that consistency, you are going to be way ahead of the pack, because most people get really jazzed about going ahead and being consistent for a little bit, and then they fall off, understandably, because they don't have our content planner. But it can be challenging to show up. So we want to make sure that you are, so that way you are ahead of the game. All right. Next, you might be able to hear some little people voices. The next piece is around the value piece. So if you are worried at all that all of this posting and all of this showing up is going to make you feel like you're just kind of constantly doing it, and maybe you're feeling like you're being overwhelming or you're being spammy or any of that kind of stuff, this is solved by this one right here, value. We aren't going to share things that aren't interesting, engaging, useful, helpful, helping people get from point A to B more efficiently or effectively, or whatever that happens to be. We are going to be sharing value. It's valuable stuff. It's the stuff that people actually care about. And because you know your audience and you are going to be doing this on a consistent basis, you are going to learn more. You're going to learn about this more and more and more and more and more and more and more, exactly what happens to engage. Okay. So we are going to be really focusing and committing to value, sharing that value. All right. Now, the next piece is around the invitation, okay, or the call to action. So we want to make sure that each time you are posting, that you are putting content out into the ecosystem, that you are thinking about what their next step is. What is the invitation that you're making for them? Are you inviting them to engage with you? Are you inviting them to send you a message? Are you inviting them to comment below? Are you inviting them to like it? Are you inviting them to download this really amazing freebie? What is it that what is your invitation? Are you, and you can be thinking about things like, am I looking for sales calls here? Am I looking for leads? Am I looking for kind of email addresses? We want to be thinking about what the invitation is, okay? And now the most important one, and you may already know what this is based on the fact that I kind of went on about it here just a little second ago. You're going to be invited to my amazing, stellar art skills. The cherry on top, of course, is you. You are the cherry on top here. All right. I want you to show up as yourself. I want you to show up as you. Again, we're not robots. And again, people don't invest in the stuff. They invest in people. They invest in you. So we want to make sure that you are the one who is going ahead and engaging and showing up and showing your face and sharing your voice and all of those things. Okay. So this is what we want to go ahead and do. So now, how we are going to get there. How are we going to get there? So what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and build out your content plan. All right. So what I want you to do is there is a link above. Let's just make sure that I am doing this properly. There is a link above, and we want to make sure that you go ahead and download this so that way you will be, all right, where are we going? Where are we here? Oh, here we go. So let's go ahead and, oh, where is it? What's happening here? Just a sec. All right, here we go. So sharing away. There we go. Okay, so how we are going to do this is we're looking at our monthly content planner. So what we want to do here is we want to make sure, first of all, that you're going to go ahead and download this. So go ahead and pause me and download your community content planner so that you can work with it at the same time as we are going through it now. Okay, go ahead and pause me. Pause me now. Please pause me. Okay, so I'm just going to trust that you're actually going to do all of these steps because we want to make sure that you are done today. You're done this for the next month. You got it sorted, right? We don't want a bunch of waiting for all this stuff. Okay, all right. So what are we looking at here? So you can see that, of course, along the left-hand side, we've got the weeks. So there's 4 weeks usually in each month. So going across there, so we've got boxes along for each week here, and then across the top we've got the days of the week. So essentially, what you want to do is you want to make sure that we're showing up on an ongoing and consistent basis. What that means for me is Monday to Friday. So I post Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You don't have to necessarily post all of those days. You can maybe what you feel more comfortable with is 3 days a week. That's fine as well, but we don't want to go less than 3. Excuse me, you don't want to go less than 3 days a week. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're posting at least 3 days a week, if not 5. All right, so now you can see how that's going along. One of the things you'll notice as well is that there's particular pieces around here around, like themes like the stuff like engagement, the you, all that kind of stuff. Maybe it works better for you to have those happening and landing on a different day. That's fine also. But the point is that these are just different ways, different prompts as we go through, and we're going to walk them through. When you download this, one thing you'll notice as well, so we've got the month here at the top, so you can go ahead and write down the month, and then you can think about a particular theme as well. So if you've got particular tenets of your offer, if you've got certain ideas or something that you want to talk about, like say for February, it's all about, it's about like attraction, it's about love, it's about community, it's about connection, whatever. You can just kind of pick a theme, and then that can help thread through all of the content that you have for that month as well. Okay, so now what we have here is we've got, let's start with Monday. So on Monday, what I have here is engagement posts. So the reason for these kinds of posts is purely, it doesn't have to be business related. It doesn't have to be related to your specific business. It can just be stuff. The whole purpose of this is just to do things to help encourage people to engage, they're usually fairly low risk kind of posts. This is not what are your deepest, darkest secrets. This is that kind of thing. This is super easy. The example I always give is, what's your favorite ice cream color? What's your favorite ice cream? Any of those kinds of things. Stuff that is really easy. If you happen to be in the parenting space, it can be things like what time do your kids go to bed? Things that are really easy, that are topical. They're very low risk. No one has to worry about being wrong or looking stupid or being kind of shown up in any particular way. It's really easy to engage. This can be this or that questions. This can be yes or no questions. This can be true or false kind of questions, all those kinds of things. You can ask, do you prefer, what kind of book do you prefer, fiction or nonfiction? Some people will say both. In any case, people will start to kind of share what it is that they think on this particular topic. Okay, so that can be like your prompt for week 1 for Monday. Next can be like asking for a recommendation or giving a recommendation. So if somebody, if you've got the fact that you want to go and get a really fantastic, I don't know, pick anything. Like maybe you're going to go and you're buying a new phone and you want a recommendation. You're going to buy a new TV and you would like a recommendation. You would love to know what kind of, I keep on thinking about like parenting examples, but like what brand of socks actually stay on little kids' feet. Anything like that. Anything that's just going to help to prompt your community to engage in what it is that you're doing. Okay, the next prompt, it can be a tool. What's the best this for that? So you can say something like, for those people, actually, I don't necessarily recommend this, but I'm just going to give you an example. For those who have meal prep services, which one do you think is the best? Or which family organizing app do you think is do you think is the best? Those kinds of things. Again, as time goes on, you're going to test different things. You're going to see when you post that certain things flop and certain things just absolutely go gangbusters. That's fine. That's normal. That's just how it goes. All right. So you're going to go ahead and do that. And then week 4, this can be a rant. So maybe if there's something that really kind of bugs you about what's going on right now, maybe it is just that you are just really kind of feeling really sad that you can't go and see your parents right now, or you are, any number of things. Maybe you're just like really, really frustrated with the weather, with, whatever, some kind of rant, something that just kind of like just really gets your goat. Okay, so I want you to go ahead right now, pause me for 60 seconds. I'm going to trust that you're going to actually pause me. Now pause me and go ahead. I'm not going to actually do it with you because if I do that, then, if I keep on pausing for a minute, then this video is going to take forever. But just go ahead and add, write down in your content planning sheet, go ahead and write down all of your ideas and your prompts for your space. Okay, so go ahead and pause me now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Tuesday. So now we've talked a lot, like the cherry on our ice cream cone there, the cherry on top was you. So this is all about sharing you, sharing this piece of this piece of you. So right here, if you're imagining the fact that you happen to be a particular character for them, for your ideal potential client, these are people who are really interested and engaged in the kind of person that you are, because again, people don't buy products or services, they buy people, they buy you. So these are some things that you can share with them on this. So what is your origin story, right? Let's see here. My part of my story is that I grew up with a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was an electrician. These have all had, and my dad kind of built businesses, and my mom was there along the whole way. So has a big impact on things as a general rule. Something that comes up a lot for me is that I dealt with infertility. This is something that this has influenced how I show up in the world in a big way. So that's something that I end up kind of talking about. You can talk about a particular superpower that you have. Like, what are you amazing at? What are you fantastic at? One thing that I'm fantastic at, one of my superpowers, is that I am very relatable on video. I feel like I can really connect with people on video. Oftentimes when I talk to people after they've been watching some of my stuff, they feel like they know me, they feel like they trust me, just by watching my videos for a while. So that's kind of something that I would count as a superpower. You can speak to a particular weakness that you have. What is a weakness that you have that you feel comfortable sharing? It's not bad. It's not bad, by the way, sharing things that you would deem as a particular weakness for yourself. I'm not a proponent of going ahead and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets on the internet for the sake of content creation. Don't do that. I mean, we share things that we feel that we own and we feel really comfortable sharing. So go ahead and do that, but don't feel pressured in any way to share something that is too personal. But what is a weakness that you want to share? Let's see, here's some of my weaknesses. I am very I like everything done yesterday. So, the being able to kind of be kind of patient and like the small wins and all that other kind of stuff. That's something that I have like really pulled into my ongoing and everyday, because I know the power of small incremental habits. And that's something that I've had to kind of really build in. And that's something that I've learned the power of. And so my weakness has really kind of like helped me learn some very important things. So yeah, so what is one for you? Lessons learned. So is there something that you've learned, whether it happens to be in the past or something that you're dealing with right now? I trained for a half marathon, and I learned a tremendous amount from that. I learned about the importance of listening to people who have gone before you. I have learned the importance of pacing yourself. I have learned the importance of, I've again learned the importance of community, and how important it was for me to be able to engage in a community of people who had gone before me, and how valuable that was for me, and how galvanizing it was for me. So what are some lessons learned? You can talk about your team, whether you happen to have people on your team, like whether you have, if you've got VAs, if you've got partners, if you've got anyone who happens to be on your team. This can also be people in your family. Maybe you really consider your partner part of your team. You really consider, your kids are involved in your business. These kinds of things. If you share things like that, then that can be something that you would have as well. What is a particular battle that you have experienced, gone through, stepped through? Okay, what is something that you have overcome, gotten to the other side of? I gave the example of infertility. For me, that's something that I have kind of come to the other side of, and has had a big impact. I had a hysterectomy, and this has been it was very scary, and it was very, very I learned some things, some very powerful things about myself from that process. So that ends up being a part of my story. Next, what is something that you stand against, whether it happens to be in your industry or otherwise? Maybe there's something that every other service provider or coach kind of says in this space, and that you are just absolutely against. Like, you do not agree with that, and this is something that you absolutely want to help either like protect your clients from, or that you're wanting to build some more awareness around. And then also, what is something about your workspace, the workspace, or maybe if you work from home, like the home space that you're in. So something about whether it happens to be your desk, or if you're allowed to work in coffee shops, like where is it that you generally kind of work from? People like seeing some of that inside track. Okay, so go ahead and pause me. Pause me now, and 60 seconds on your clock, and run through a list of what you are going to be able to speak on this topic. Okay, so the next one, Wednesday, which is coaching and or training. So this is something that is probably near and dear to you. It's probably something that you do on a regular basis. So this should be fairly easy. So when you're thinking about things that you can potentially talk about, one can be FAQs. What are frequently asked questions that you get from your clients or that you get from your community that you hear quite a bit? These are things that you can, they'll be very interesting for people to have you cover for them. Next can be mistakes made. Things that you see you don't want to call it your clients, of course, but things that you see people in the space, errors that you see making, that you sharing that is going to be incredibly valuable, because people are going to manage to be able to avoid that misstep. Okay, so what are some mistakes that are made? Next can be do you have a particular model? A model or like a drawing. If you like to draw, like my ice cream sketch, like that will kind of, for some people, they're very visual learners, and so having something like that, it's going to help them remember. They're going to go, oh, wait a second, what was that cherry? What was the cherry on top? It's you, by the way. It's you. You are the cherry on top. But those kinds of things can help people to kind of learn and absorb the information, and kind of help kind of have a bit of sticking and staying power. Other things, what are some like big key ideas, some big points that you want people to remember? For me, one of the things that big key point that I want people to remember, that is that as their communities grow, as their influence grows, that their community, the one way that the key idea that can really help people remember that it's possible for them to be able to scale things and to be able to manage actually quite a large community, is remembering that their community is not about them. It's not about them. It's about the people who are it's about the community members. It's about them. And that key idea can really help to be the top filter through which you kind of decide everything else. Okay, so what are some key ideas and some key points for your particular space? All right, so go ahead, pause me, make out your list for coaching ideas, training ideas for the next several weeks. Go ahead and pause me now. All right, it's now Thursday. Thursday is a conversion day. Now this is very fun. And I think this is, remember how we were talking about, we want to make sure we have that balance between the give and the take, the give and the ask. So the conversion side of things is where we are kind of putting our offers out there, putting some of our offers out there. And there can be a lot of different ones. But some examples can be a lead magnet. Do you have a particular lead magnet? Maybe you happen to have just had a training that you just did, and your lead magnet is, I just did a video talking about issue XYZ. Would you like the link? Now, one thing to keep in mind and remember is that the vast majority of the people in your community do not see what you post most of the time. So you don't have to worry that, let's say that you just did a video, last Thursday, and now you're going ahead, or last Wednesday, and now you're going, and creating like a lead magnet out of that particular video. You don't have to worry that you're going, oh, it feels like you've kind of duplicated, or you've gone ahead and you're promoting something that you just did. Don't worry about that. You're going to have new people coming into your community all the time who wouldn't have seen it. All kinds of people don't necessarily know how to navigate around different spaces within Facebook groups, so don't worry about that. And this is just helping to give people a very direct path to your content. So go ahead and you can kind of like reuse it there. You can do something like a webinar. Maybe you have a webinar in existence right now, and you can be promoting that webinar. You can have a case study. So if you have clients already, if you've worked with people who have had some really great results, so you can go ahead and deliver that information. You've gone ahead and you've had clients who have achieved outcome XYZ. This is fantastic, exciting, amazing. And then you can say something like, remembering that part of this is the invitation. Maybe your call to action here is something like, for if you would like results like this, send me a message, and I can, ask you a few questions to see if I'd be able to be of help to you. Okay, so you can do like a case study post. And then your last one can be a call or an invitation to your group, an invitation for other people to invite people to your group, any of those kinds of pieces as well. Okay, all right, so go ahead and pause me now and write down the things that you will be able to do for your conversion posts. One thing I want to add as well is that part of what one of your invitations can be too can be something like it can be something like, that you've got a challenge coming up or a retreat or something like that that you have coming up and that people can register. So that's something that people can be doing as well. And you can also be doing things like for when you're thinking about your webinar, you can be doing something like a live webinar, like a live 45-minute training where you've gone ahead and you've said, you've got a training coming up, you're getting some people together and you would love for them to come and be a part of this conversation. So if they're interested in participating, to send you a note, that kind of thing. Okay. All right. So go ahead, pause me now, write down your list. All right. So then the final day is Friday, and this is for the creation and collaboration kind of side of things. Now, one of the ideas here is that oftentimes, and I'm trying to remember the name of the author. I can't remember the name of the author now, of the person who oftentimes what ends up happening is that we go ahead and we create things like artists, artists, and I'm counting us in the, in this description. We create, but we don't necessarily, show our work. Right? We don't show all the pieces, all the underpinnings of how it is that we create what we create. And so this is the way to be able to do that. So, so things that you can do is you can say a project that you're working on. What is something that you're working on right now, that you've got something kind of coming up that you're working away on. You can have a client interview where you basically have them, come into your space and you're interviewing them and you are, asking them about, some of the challenges that they had and some of the things that they've been able to kind of overcome and some of the outcomes that they have achieved through working with you. You can offer a sneak peek. People really like things like sneak peeks. This can be a sneak peek into a training that you've got coming up. If you like to draw a lot for for the trainings that you have, you can go ahead and you can take a picture of the part of your notes for an upcoming training, or you can do you can do a really quick scan of your screen of the things that you happen to be pulling together, just to give people like a bit of a taste. The human brain is really interested in new things. So when we say something like a sneak peek for something that's coming up, that really helps to kind of activate that curiosity. Okay, and then something else that you can do is an influencer interview. So if there's somebody who you have access to that is in your space and is an influencer in some way, then you can be interviewing them in your community as well. Okay, so these are all different things that you can be doing to help with all of this content creation stuff. So go ahead, pause me, and think about some ideas that you can do for your Fridays under the creation collaboration side of things. Okay, so pause me now. Okay. All right, here we are, back to me. Okay, so where are we at here? Okay, so now we've got all of the pieces here. You've got your content plan for the whole month. You now have a whole wall, a whole page of ideas for what you are going to be able to do. Now as we go into the next piece in terms of actually creating this and putting this out into your space, what you can do is you can batch it. Okay, so you can batch this actual creation. So now you're going to have a map. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to talk about this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, this on Thursday, this on Friday. You can say, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, this is going to be written and I'm going to include an image. I'm going to, take a photo of my desk for this one and I'm going to have this in here. I'm going to shoot a video, whatever. So you can go ahead and you can batch it, and you can either do it, all at once. That might be a little bit, time consuming. You can do it all at once. You can do it weekly. So you can decide, say on a Thursday or Friday, you're going to create all of your content for the coming week. And then you can go ahead and start kind of scheduling it. You can put it into, the Facebook scheduler or something like that. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. Or you can do it daily. So you've got, that you have. As you get faster at this, you are going to go ahead and kind of start to get a lot more comfortable with just kind of creating things on the fly. But the fact that you've got what you're going to talk about and you kind of have that, you have that framework there, it's going to make it a lot a lot faster. One of the things I find too is that, say for things on the connection side, like on the Monday, it's usually really easy to kind of just keep on getting ideas about that and then just plugging it into the Facebook schedule, and you just kind of know that you've got it there, and you can have several weeks kind of booked out right there, and you know that it's there. All right. So go ahead. And that's one thing that I'd love for you to comment down below is let us know, are you going to batch your content monthly? Sorry, are you going to batch it? Are you going to create your content once a month, once a week, or daily? Okay, so just let us know. Monthly, weekly, daily. Write that down in the comments. And remember that you can do a combination. You can either do video, or you can do written, or you can do an image with some text. Okay, so you can kind of like mix it up, figure out what happens to be, you know, most comfortable for you, or easiest. Okay, and this is not about, we're not talking about creating 45-minute videos all the time. Okay, that's not what this is. We're talking about a couple of minutes max. We just want to get the content out there. Okay, all right, so for your homework, I want you to comment below daily, weekly, or monthly. All right, for bonus points, you can take a screenshot of your content plan and post it as a comment as well, just so that we can kind of see everything that you're working on, and that will be super fun for me. Okay. Okay. All right. So the big idea here, the thing I really want you to kind of take away is that we want to make sure that we are creating that give and ask rhythm. It's not just about give, 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 give. And it's not just about ask, 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 ask. Okay. On Thursday or whatever day of the week that you happen to pick, we want to make sure, and just as it doesn't have to be Thursday, I would recommend that you've got it between like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Okay, those are usually the kind of most active days. You can kind of see into your particular space what happens to be most active. But, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is kind of like good days for this. So making sure that we are kind of putting that content out there. We want to make sure that we are planning a whole month at a time. Okay, there's no sense in leaving it. So we're just going to have a whole month at a time. All right. And the big cherry on top of all this is that people invest in you. So I want you to just, done is better than perfect. Just show up, keep on putting stuff out there, and you are going to evolve and hone just as things go. Okay? Okay. So well done. I'm super excited to see everything that you're creating. And yeah, comment down below. Okay. Talk soon. Bye.